Good day, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, good day. Hello. Thank you so very much for having me. I'm excited to share with you from a position of personal testimony. Everything that I talk about today will be my own journey. I've chosen to share my journey around the world. It is important for people to be able to not only have access to literature, to journals, to internet information. I have felt through my journey that the best lessons learned are taught from people who have lived specifically in a journey that they are close to. So, as mentioned, I am the author. I used a pen name. I don't know how to say pen name, but because of the sensitive nature of my story, I chose to write under a pen name. And in the back of the book, it talks about me, the survivor. When we have situations that are difficult, we are so often called the survivor. And that's because that's what we're doing. On a daily basis, we are surviving. So, I want to talk about a little the title of this book. The title of this book is specifically what I have done, Discovering Me. Everyone in this room, at some point or another, will have to discover your true self. If ever faced with any type of opposition, personal, professional, social, economical, financial, it doesn't matter. There's some self-discovery that needs to take place to help you get from here to there. My journey started with me discovering who I am. I was adopted at a very young age, 6 months old. And the search to find my parents was very, very important to me. I believe that every person deserves to know who they are. Because if we know who we are, and where we come from, it can really help us define where we're going. Aside from the stress of just not knowing who you are, can you imagine, take 1 minute and think about this. Can you imagine to not know your mother and, not or, and your father? It doesn't mean that I didn't have a good life. It just simply meant there was a piece of me that was missing. Okay, at 6 months old, this probably didn't matter. 3 years old, nah, it didn't matter. But as my years of life started to progress, so did my understanding of life. When you know better, you do better, you want better, but when you're lacking some information, what do? When you want to know what time it is, you look at the clock. The answer is there. When you want to know the definition of a word, you look in the dictionary, you find it. It's easy. It's there. When there's something missing from your life and there is nowhere to define it, your mind will start to self-sustain in its own way, without knowledge, without education, without a clue. So then it builds. It starts to build on this hallucination, on this, exaggeration, all of these things. And as a young woman, trying to engage socially, trying to study lessons, to prepare for a career, it can be damaging. This is the first beginning of stress. Let me talk a little bit now about stress. Everyone, look to your right and to your left. Okay? You see? There's someone to your right and to your left, right? 3 of you and the one to your right and the one to your left. 3 of you right now have an interest to understand depression. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here, right? Am I correct? Okay. 2 of you have suffered from depression. Okay? Now it's getting real. think a little bit about what I'm saying. There are 3 people in my equation here. You and the 2 next to you. All 3 of you are interested. Doesn't matter your level of interest. You're interested. 2 of you. 2. And it doesn't matter which 2. 2 of you are or have been depressed. 1 of you have thought about suicide. Believe me. You don't need to know who. It's not important to know. But this is the fact these days. Now, we don't want to talk about it because this is our social society. Unfortunately, many of us are stuck. We are stuck in our feelings to know, do I accept my feeling and live with it quietly? Or do I go here and I ask for help? It's easier to stay over here, right? Because we think we can read in the internet, we can read books, we can self-treat ourselves. But it's bigger than us. Forums and conferences like this help us to see it is much bigger than what we think. And it's also okay to get help. Let me explain a little more. Stress does not always come from a bad place. How many of you agree? There are stressful situations. Even today, I'm sure some of us have experienced some level of stress. Many of us handle it better than others. Stress comes from change, whether it's good change or bad change, it comes. I mean, just raise your hand. How many people in the last 24 hours have experienced any level of stress? Your button popped on your dress. Your car wouldn't start. You got a phone call. You got an extra assignment at work. You see the hands? You see? Now, how this side of the room handles it will be much different than this side. What are some changes? Let's talk about that. Remember what I said. All stress is not bad stress. There's good stress. You get a promotion, that's great, right? Isn't that a good thing? But it can also be stressful because it means there's more responsibility, there's more work, but hey, it's a good thing. I want that promotion. I'm going to go after it. But now, when you get what you ask for, I wanted to know who my parents were. When I found out who my mother was, I couldn't handle it. Not because it was a bad thing. It was so great. It was so good. Finally, at age 44, I knew who my mom was. And she was someone that I had always known in my life, my aunt. You see? So stress is not always bad. We can sometimes quantify things and say, but I have too much of it. Your too much is your too much. No one can tell you what is too much for you. 1 thing could be too much. 10 things could be okay. Some people are known to manage stress. That's what they're about. But it doesn't mean that it's not damaging. We talk about changes. Some of the changes are a birth of a child. For some, this is a very happy thing. But for others, they have to pretend it's happy. Okay? A wedding. This is supposed to be the happiest time of your life. But secretly, some of us are sad. A new home. Just those 3 things alone. On one hand, they're very, very exciting. On the other, what comes with those things? A new baby, Pampers, milk, education, clothing, discipline. You have to plan. This is why new mothers are given a lot of attention. But we often forget, again, everybody does not handle things alike. The goal is for everyone to live their best life now. Not when the baby is growing and they're 5 years old. It doesn't have to be that you have to wait for some period of time to be happy, better, healthy, mentally stable. You deserve it now. But two things have to happen. You have to want it, and you cannot be afraid to receive help. It's really okay. Women in the workplace are given a lot of responsibility. We are given exactly what we want. We want the positions, we want the jobs, but we are often given so much more in the workplace than our male counterparts sometimes. And we as women, we seek more. We want more. We say, the position is there, I should get it. When I get it, I want more. Then I want to go more education so I can get the next one. And we go and we go and we go. And then we're there in this big position, and we're afraid that if I say it's too much, I failed myself, I failed my workplace, I failed my family. But it's okay. It's better. You gain your notoriety, you gain your position, and you maintain it by seeking assistance. Sometimes you don't have to say no. You just say, not right now. Okay? You don't have to turn away the position. You may just have to say, I can do it with help. I can do it with a partner, an accountability person. Just like today's conference, there are two organizations, right, that partnered. Even in the smallest of tasks, it doesn't hurt you to say, I need help. Good stress, some people are probably saying, well, I could use a little bit of that good stress right now, a promotion, a new house, all of these things. It's true. But let's talk now a little bit about the bad stress. Any stress needs to be managed. We can't say it's going to go away. I mean, the world that we live in, it's filled with stress. Some of the bad stress could be dependencies on alcohol, dependencies on drugs, abuse, being abused, being an abuser. Oh, yeah. People who abuse you physically, verbally, these people, they are filled with stress too. But they're taking it out on you. Okay? Don't give them a break. No. The bad stressors are things that we can't sometimes control, but we are the victim of. Therefore, when you can't control it, you have to be able to manage it. If you don't, it will take over. It will ruin you. One of the things we have to focus on with bad stress is physical fitness. Your physical fitness is tied directly to your mental fitness. If you are unhealthy, if you're sick, if you're feeling weak, mentally you will focus on those things. Again, we cannot always avoid illness. Sometimes it's just going to be a part of our life. It's our chemical makeup. But we can control it by staying with our physicians, by staying educated. Anything you don't know about, you have to learn about. It will help you mentally absorb and understand your position. If your physical fitness, meaning your health, everything related to your physical component, is in order, you can concentrate better. You ever hear the old saying at home is, if you eat a good breakfast, it controls the rest of your day. It makes you healthy and you can think smarter. This is still true. So if your physical fitness is guided and you keep a watch on it, it will help you maintain your thought process through the day. One part about being physically fit is you think about the things you do when you're feeling well. Let's talk about some of that. If you eat healthy foods, you stay energized, right? You're not slouching, you're not sleeping. You eat a lot of fatty, heavy foods. It causes you to be sluggish. Now you're sleeping all day. You're pushing yourself a little bit further away from people. When you don't exercise, the same thing. You start to feel overweight. You start to get weighed down. You find yourself slipping slowly away from society again, and depression starts to slip in. It's true. When you are not working, you're sitting at home during the day, and you're seeing your neighbors going and coming to work, or they're going to volunteer to do something, and you're just sitting home, and you think about, there must be someone that has a neighbor that all day they're home, they don't come out. Depression can slip into that person. You think about people who don't keep their personal space organized or clean. You will find they just don't care. You start looking for those things, watching for those things. When someone is unorganized, it clearly can lead them to confusion, where then it gets so confused they no longer care. Can you imagine you visit your teenage daughter in her college dormitory and you notice everything is just array? Sometimes that's normal. But oftentimes it is a sign. It is a sign that they're not thinking clearly, that they're slipping slowly towards depression. Someone's not taking a bath, daily routine of hygiene. We like to blame it on this, blame it on that, but these are signs. This is a sign of depression. Someone who is drinking a lot of alcohol, a little bit more than normal. Maybe there's a good sale going on and they bought a lot of wine. But if they're drinking a lot, we want to watch that. These are the things that we can do to be accountable to watch for bad stressors. I'm quite sure that we all like to consider looking over our shoulders at our neighbors, our colleagues, our family members. And sometimes we say, that's just them. Don't say it anymore. Look into it a little bit. Even if you have to do it privately, call them up. Hey, what's going on? Hey, can we watch a movie together? Hey, let's go for a day trip. Just to spend time to learn how you can play a more positive impact on someone who you notice is having change that could be contributed by bad stress. The next step, when we look at the good stress, the bad stress, now the depression, is what do you do? What do you do when you notice that you're depressed, or someone who's very close to you, or someone that's not close to you at all, but you're in their presence? A colleague, a neighbor, maybe someone you interact with at the grocery store. You notice something is a little different. They're absent from work. They're not attending church regularly. You don't see them anymore smiling at, you attend events. You don't see that person anymore. Pick up the phone, let someone else know. It's all about being accountable. Everybody has a story. Everybody's story matters. Because some part of your story is also my story, and her story, and his story. Everybody's story matters. It's something that connects people with depression, that it's incomparable to any other situation. Either we have the same feeling, the same thought process, the same outlook, the same perception. That's what it's about sharing information that you may not feel is important to someone, but they will see it as the light at the end of their tunnel. Oh, wow, you have that issue too? Oh, my goodness, that worked for you? How can it work for me? Never, ever be embarrassed or afraid. First of all, stress and depression are both health issues. They're not just fancy words. They really are true health conditions. What does that mean? It means that your health information is private. It means that you are protected on what you need to go and get help for. It's like the common cold or any other illness. You have the right to be treated for depression. Now, we've talked about stress, good stress, bad stress, how those things, absent of, doing our daily routine, staying physical, we've talked about how those things can lead to depression. Let's talk about depression a little more. I'm quite sure that we say, oh, you hear this often, I'm so depressed. That's really a true sign. Most depressed people will say it. But the issue is they're not saying it to the right people, or they're not saying it to people that understand it. And that's where we have to take some accountability to be a resource for people who need help. How many times have you heard your coworker say, oh, this is so depressing? I mean, really, have you anybody heard that? Raise your hand. Let me see how many people. See? Okay. Now, the same people, have you taken that person seriously? No, because it's common, right? Or if we do, we're afraid. We're afraid. Oh, we don't want to get them in trouble. We don't want to cause them to lose their job. We don't want to embarrass them. But you could save their life. And I'll tell you why as we progress. One thing about helping someone is knowing how to have positive talk. Positive talk encourages people who are afraid to move forward in getting help. You do a few things with positive talk. You teach people how to speak positively about themselves. I love Coretta. Okay, doesn't that sound good? I love myself. If you love yourself, hey, who can beat that? You can. Never, ever, ever love yourself too much. You just can't. It's a beautiful relationship to have. Practice that. In the mornings, when you're feeling a little bit down, hey, I love myself. And because I love myself, I'm going to stay healthy. I'm going to have healthy conversations. I'm going to have positive self-talk. That doesn't mean that every day you have to stand in the mirror and talk to yourself for an hour. But it does mean, that you have to constantly put forth an effort to speak only positive words when you're speaking to yourself, to your friends, to your family, and to your colleagues. What will that do? That will help build a community of positivity around you. It will allow you to move negativity out of your space. If you know, for example, that she's always happy, she's always positive, she's always smiling, you're not going to bring negativity in her space because you already know, oh, I'm not feeling good today, so I'm not going to take that around her. If we all practiced it, it would work. But the reality is we can't, right? We simply cannot always avoid happy people. We can't always avoid happy situations if we're down. But what we can do is learn to pull from that positive energy. When you're feeling down, even a little bit down, find a happy person. That's why we happy folks must continue to exude that happiness because you don't know who you're helping. You don't know who you're going to pull through a bad day. You don't have to say anything. Just to be in their presence gives you enough to say, I can do this. I can pull it together, even for a moment, and live off of the energy that you find in positive people. So for those of us who have the energy to help, don't be afraid. Because you don't know the person next to you, behind you, or the person you're going to see at the bank, how they need that. They need just one little ray of sunshine coming from you to say, I can get through this day. Yep. Or, I can't get through this day, but let me get some help. Or it helps you see that you need to offer them some help. It doesn't take a doctor to fix every situation. When I was getting treatment, to be honest with you, I got the best help from talking to a fellow patient. You know, because remember what I said when I first started? You learn best from someone who has been through some things. You see, I want to hear from people who know what depression is. I want to know how they made it. I want to know the signs and the struggles, and when they fell back 2 or 3 times, how they come forward again. That's what I want, and I can read all day. But I need to know the little things. You know, wearing a bright color, wearing a different hair. But be careful, because self-identity is very important when you're trying to find out your happy place in society. You don't want to lose yourself by pretending to be happy. This is very, very bad, and we do not encourage people to pretend to be anything. For when you pretend that you're happy and you go home and you're sad, you are now living 2 lives. That is I can barely live 1. But to try to live 2 lives, it's very damaging. Because now you have to be a whole nother identity, and you have to remember who you are. When you go to work, you have to remember to be happy. and though you're sad and you're heavy inside, you have to remember. And sometimes you're too tired to remember because you didn't get good sleep at home because you're sad at home. So often what happens is in depressed people, we're trying to live 2 different lives, or maybe 3. We don't want our children to know one side of us, our husbands to know, or wives to know one side of us, and definitely our colleagues. We don't want these 3 sides to collide. But that's exactly what will happen. The hard truth is, when you continue to live those multiple lives, at some point you will be tired. Oh yes, weary of being more than one person. Find your true self and live your best life as one person. Because if you continue to hide behind those different emotions, you'll get tired of living all of them. And that is where depression leads to suicide. Your life becomes so complicated because you don't want to publicly ask for help. You want to pretend that life is great all around, or you choose to live these multiple lives, and it might work. It worked for me for 2 years. And suddenly I said, I'm tired. I can't remember who I am. I forgot to smile today at work. Now they know, oh my gosh. And then you come home and you're like, today I had to smile and I forgot. And now I don't know what's going to happen. And then you're finding yourself draining your family. You're draining them because they probably think that you're sad all the time, and they think that everybody knows. But in fact, they're the only one that knows. They think that you are getting help when you're not. They see you succeeding. They see you going out. You know, you say, hi, honey, mwah, heading off to work. And they feel like life is good for you because you're not being honest. Don't be afraid. How can you be afraid to tell the people you love that your mental health is failing? How? They know you better than anyone. But I get it. A new bride, old bride. We don't want our spouse to feel like we're letting them down because we have what? A responsibility. But it's okay. It's better that you tell them you have a problem than you have to leave them in this world behind because you've made a bad decision to choose suicide. Don't put that on your families. Don't even put the thought of that in their minds. Work with your families. It's easier to work with your families than it is your colleagues. Am I correct? Don't you feel that family members can offer you some type of support? Even if they don't understand it, they will respect it because they are your family. If you can't find a level of respect in your spouse, your parent, a best friend, someone who will check in and make sure that you're doing something towards help. You can't fix it in one night, because if you could fix it in one night, it would never be existing. It wouldn't. So I encourage people to say this. Where there is a will, there's certainly a way. We just have to figure out what works best for us. The opposite is also true. There are some very prominent people in this world, and they could never let their family members know that they have a mental health condition. So that's okay. If your help doesn't come from there, you go to your physician and maybe even your workplace. My workplace helped me save my life because they offered programs, they offered conferences, they offered outpatient treatment that I could, hey, hi, honey, I'm leaving to go to work. I head to work. I go off to my outpatient appointment. I'm getting my mental health treatment privately, and I'm coming home a better person. Whatever works for you, you have to make it work. My health means a lot to me now. There was a time it didn't. It didn't matter. But I didn't remember the good things. I forgot. Why? Because I was too busy pretending I was great. But I am great. But I was too busy pretending I was great when I wasn't. So, when we talk a lot about stress and depression, and we talk about how we can get help and not be afraid, and how the health is protected by laws, we also need to remember to pull it all together. At the end of all of this, we say physical health is connected to mental health, how you feel about yourself. Not how your neighbor feels, not how your boss feels, how you feel. Many people will still continue to have symptoms of depression even after they get help. But you have to keep doing the things that you see are helping you to improve. It could take years. Don't be surprised. You could still feel bad about a situation next year this time. It's the same situation that happened today. But you will feel better if you continue to work at it. If you stop, then you're going to stay stuck. Staying stuck in your feelings will get you no further. It's a bad place to be when you're stuck. You don't know whether to get better, whether to stay where you are, whether to fall back. Get unstuck. It's easy. Take one step this way or one step that way, but move. Don't stay in that same spot. If it's a death and you're having grief, look to what you have remaining. If it's a financial issue, work it out. Sit down. Budget. Talk to your banker. Whatever it is, don't stay in that moment. Staying there is only going to make it worse. Don't pretend. Remember that word. Pretend and depression, they just can't go together. It can't. If you ever hear yourself say that word in association with the word depression, cancel that out. Erase it. Find another word to replace it with. You have to understand that being yourself is the important way to helping you live your best life now. If you're not working and sitting at home all day is detrimental to your health, volunteer. Go help someone. Find an opportunity that fulfills you. Anything that you like to do, just get moving. Get out there. On the other side, if you have an opportunity to offer someone that you know is depressed an opportunity to come in and help you do some things, bring them along. Pull them aside. Come with me. Spirituality. Everybody has their own. I cannot tell you what my God will do, and you certainly can't tell me what yours will do. It's only for you. Your private relationship will help you understand how suicide, depression, and stress should never be a part of where you are. I don't think anyone can say that their spirituality will lead them to end their own lives. Think hard and privately about your spirituality and respect that of others. Recently, my father passed away, and his religion was so different from mine, I couldn't understand it. I was grieving twice, one because he passed away, and two because I had to understand his religion. But I respected it enough to give him his final wishes while I respected the life that he left behind. You have to be able to know that your spirituality will help you. When you think that nothing else will, choose that. It's the most private way you can get peace with yourself about the life you're given. So we always say, oh, I have to live the life that I'm given. Well, not really. You can affect your life. You can make changes. Even if it's hard, it's not impossible. Find a daily routine to feel better about your life and yourself. Watch how you spend money, because sometimes we get, I'll feel better if I buy a new dress. But if you have to buy a new dress every other day, now you're going to feel worse at the end of the month when you have to look at your checking account. So we also want to talk about our reactions to things. We have to realize that we as depressed people, we react differently, okay? We're more spontaneous, and we often find ourselves, boom, giving an answer without thinking about it. I encourage you to be more patient, breathe, think about your answers before you have to give them, and allow yourself time to have reaction time. You don't want to add more stress to a stressful situation by not thinking through your reactions, okay? And also, keep focus on your daily activities. If it's too much, ask for help. Remember, asking someone to do something for us doesn't dilute who we are. It actually means we're great because we know how to delegate. Being great equals the ability to delegate. It's okay. We don't have to fail ourselves or feel like we're failing ourselves when we need help. We simply need to be able to say, I want to succeed. I want to have a good life now. And in order for me to do that, I need help. Change your thinking. Think positively. Think that I can succeed at anything I can do, no matter how bad I feel, because someone else has felt this way. They made it. 10 other people have been through what you've been through in the last 10 minutes. It's all about how you want to see yourself on the other side of it. Depression can be situational. It doesn't have to be forever. It could take a long time to get over, like I said, but it can be situational. Things happen that cause us to be depressed. A death, a loss, all those things. but it's not forever. Situational means that today it's here, we're going to get help for it, we're going to overcome it, and we're going to heal from it. Or long-term depression, you need to be treated for it properly. Medication, therapy. You may need a change of workplace. You may need a change of society. It just depends. Weather. It's long-term. Know the difference. If you know that your situation is temporary, that's where you really need the immediate help because you're not accustomed to it. You're not used to being in that feeling. That's almost dangerous more than long-term. Long-term, you're adjusting to who you are. You're adjusting to your situation through therapy, medication, counseling. Short-term, situational depression, watch out for that. Help others who are going through it. Think about the folks over in Hawaii right now with the volcano. Some of them are not used to that. They won't handle that well. But there are others, oh, yeah, it's a problem. Nah, volcano. It's okay. So there's a difference. Different people will definitely respond differently. No one person can ask their neighbor, how did you get help and how did it fix you? You can ask and you can hear, but your own treatment needs to come specifically from someone that is treating you for your issue. Sure, it's a great therapist, and sure, they have great advice, but until they know my situation, they cannot provide me with the specific help I need unless I'm open, I'm honest, and I'm laying it all out on the table. You cannot get help for your whole issue if you're only giving a part of your story. Lay it all out one time so that your treatment plan can be created for you to cover all gamuts and aspects of your situation. Be honest. You have to find a therapist, a counselor, an accountability partner that you trust. Trust is the entire overarching word in treatment. If you don't trust the person that's helping you, you're not going to believe in them enough to get help and receive the help. You'll hear them, but you won't react because you don't trust them. It's important too, therapists, to build that relationship. Be honest, be sensitive, be quiet. Don't talk publicly in hallways and elevators. I overheard my therapist saying, "Oh, why do I always get the crying patients?" I never went back to her. Because why? It's like if I say to my friend, "Hey, so-and-so said he's going to kill me." And they say, "Oh, he's not going to kill you." Never talk to that person again. Because you have to have someone that believes in you. You know your situation better than anybody else. Get help from the appropriate resources, but start anywhere. Because if that person can't help you, surely they know how to find someone who can. I want to leave with one more thought. We are always going from, get this done, get that done, do it this way, do this way. Always do your best. But remember, your best can change from day to day. I might be my very best right now. Right now, I may be the very best I can be because I'm happy, life is good, I have food, clothes, car. But tomorrow, my best might change. 6 o'clock this evening, my best might change. So today, at this moment, right now, and you say that all throughout the day, right now, I have to be the best I can be. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Right? If you put it in your mind to be your best right now, and let your right now be every minute, every second, keep that going until it changes. And if it has to change, allow it to change. Remember what I said, don't pretend. If something happens, accept it. But get help for it, get mentoring, get counseling, get coaching. But remember, be your best when?
No.
When? No. Right now. Be your very best right now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, doesn't matter. If you don't be your best let's say it one more time. Be your very best right now, then you're going to fail yourselves. Do it now. I hope that encouragement comes to you. I hope that you find happiness. I hope those that are very happy finds it enough room in your heart to share some of that with others. I'm happy, and I have been as sad as I can be at times. But I choose to be happy because I want to show people what it looks like to be on the other side. I've had a good life, and I've had a bad life. But all in all, I still have life. And for that, I thank all of you for listening to me today. And I hope that in some way, in some fashion, if you didn't learn anything, you learned that today, this very moment, is your opportunity to live your very best life now. Thank you.